podcast. This is our spring review. Now, a few of our sports are still going. Their spring's not over yet, but most of the sports have come to a conclusion, and graduation for you guys is only 9 days away. So just for a quick recap of our spring sports. Boys lacrosse had a tough year. They played an incredible schedule, but I know they had some good wins. The Cape Henry win was a big one. That's a strong program. Connor Erlenbach scoring 10 goals. I think that was probably one of the highlights of the season. Girls lacrosse had a solid season, got fourth in LIS, and had 3 players make All-League. So great job for them. And then we had golf, had an awesome spring, first in the Prep League, won the Prep League tournament for the first time ever, and then in states they got 4th. So great performance there. I know they were hoping to get first, but still top 4 in states is nothing to sneeze at. Tennis is playing today in the state semifinals. They're the 3 seed in the state tournament, and also tennis had 2 individual Prep League champions, Roman Sincilio at the 1 line and Gus Mitchell at 2. You may have seen them on our last podcast, so blast talking to those guys. Girls soccer, second in LIS regular season, lost a heartbreaker in the LIS championship game over collegiate, and then a top 4 in the state. So another great season for girls soccer with 11 wins. Baseball got off to a good start, then he got crushed with injuries. Certainly losing Brian Curley to Tommy John surgery was a huge factor. And then they also struggled to score some runs, but had some good wins early. And still have a lot of young talent on that team. So I know Coach Mary and the baseball program have really super days ahead for them. Softball, as we speak, as we film this, is in the state Final Four right now. They also lost in the LIS championship in extra innings in a heartbreaker, but second in LIS, and they're the number 3 seed at states. And by our next podcast, we may be talking about a state championship for softball. And then track, we know that Coach Kendrick told us the records were going to fall this spring, and they've had some really good performances. I think some Prep League and LIS individual champions, and their state meet is going to be coming up Saturday in the blazing heat at Sportsbacker Stadium. So overall, this was an excellent spring for Titan Athletics. And now I think our crew here is going to talk about some of the highlights of the spring. So I guess let's start, DJ, with you. Who would you give your Athlete of the Spring award to?
Probably my Athlete of the Spring is going to go to Colin Erlenbach. I think to be able to score 10 goals just in one game it's pretty remarkable to do it by himself. I know he was very emotional when it came to senior night about his career here, but like I said, I think Connor really put his mark here, and I think a lot of people are going to miss him, not only in the lacrosse program, but the football program as well.
Absolutely. Bach is a true Titan through and through, and that lacrosse program would have, I don't know what they would have done without him this year, so he did an incredible job. And one of my biggest memories of this whole school year is about 45 minutes after the state championship game, him coming back on the field and kissing the shield. I got that picture. That's one of my favorites. So that's a great choice there. How about you, Griff, for Athlete of the Spring?
I mean, there's a lot of great athletes out there, but I think mine is the person I've watched the most. Youth coach Dakota Bimbers. Me and DJ commented. I believe in the stab game she had 5 goals. So I think tied the school record. It's like kind of like the Connor Erlenbach. 5 goals in soccer is almost unheard of. And they weren't just little tapping goals. They were, I think 3 of them were, maybe even 4 were like either volleys or outside 18, left, right. She had. I know you said that she was 3rd on the voting for Player of the Year. And
in the league,
yeah. LIS and LIS has some stud soccer players. So I mean, to get 3rd or anywhere close is a accomplishment in her own.
Yeah, for sure. Dakota was a huge leader of soccer this spring. Yeah, I think for my Athlete of the Spring, I'm going to go with Grady Williams, just a sophomore, but Grady was the co-player of the year in the Prep League. He had the lowest scoring average on our team, which was the Prep League champion. So I think maybe a little under the radar just because they obviously play off campus out at Salisbury Country Club, but I think Grady Williams for Athlete of the Year, and really exciting because he's got 2 more years to go in the Titan Golf program. So I'm going to go with mine with Grady. All right, let's start with you this time, Griff. How about a rookie of the spring, an athlete that was new to our school this year that made a big impact on the spring?
Well, I gotta stick with the soccer trend. 8th grader Kat Pope. I mean, she has. I've always, if y'all listen to the string, I've always harped on the grit and determination. She is like that. She's her. She's that grit, determination, never gives up. She doesn't. It's not like she's the tallest or biggest girl on the field, but she will let you know that she's there. I know during the collegiate game, I mean, the ball, like, it was just collegiate defender, ball coming in the air. You just see this little girl, boom, right into, like, out of nowhere, and it got the whole crowd hype, got a whole bench. I mean, I just got a huge shout out. I'm super excited.
I gotta ask you, do you feel like when you're watching Kat play, do you feel like you're watching yourself a little bit?
I mean, I don't remember. I don't know, because sometimes she takes hits, and I'm like, I feel like I would still feel that hit today. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, she's so tough too. Kat, she sprained her ankle, and we were told she was going to be out 3 to 6 weeks. She was back in 5 days.
Yeah.
I mean, I think she maybe missed one game, but yeah, she's a beast. And only an 8th grader, like you said. Yeah, the future is very bright for Kat for sure. She actually probably maybe a little more skilled than you too. Now that I think about it, but
Come on, coach.
no.
Maybe a freshman. I couldn't use my left foot. I give you that.
Yeah.
I know. Listen.
For my rookie of the year, I'm going to go with Roman Sansilio, who we had on the podcast last week. Himself a Prep League champion, and the #1 line. I mean, as a freshman, he's playing against juniors and seniors, many who are already committed to big colleges. I think our buddy Sam Gorian with us this time, but I think Sam would know for sure. I think Rome was undefeated.
He never lost.
Yeah, never lost. So you hear our production crew in the background, our stats guy, Jack Escano. All of a sudden he's a stats guy. He didn't. This all weird. He didn't know how to count to 4 for 4th down, but now he's. But hello. All right, sorry. Got one more in on that. DJ, how about a rookie of the spring for you?
I'm gonna go with Carson Beatty of the softball team. For her to be that young and to contribute, being a big contributor for a team that's top 3 in the state, with really big chances to win a state championship is really remarkable. Just for her to be able to kind of come into a new environment, new situation, to contribute that quickly, it's really impressive.
Right, and that's even, I mean, I guess probably technically her like second best sport, because of course Carson's a great field hockey player as well. I think when we did our fall season review, she was one of our rookie of the year for field hockey. We also had Carson on the podcast. In fact, I think that was the most viewed podcast we had, is when we had Carson as an interview. I think her mom sent that link to that to everyone she knows, but Carson was a great guest. I want to wrap up just talking about like a moment from the spring. It could be just a game, a contest, a moment that you feel like you guys are going to remember. I guess I'll go first on this one. For me, though, there's so many great moments this spring, but I'm going to go with golf winning the Prep League championship. Now, I admit I wasn't there that day, but my brother-in-law is one of the coaches for the golf team. He was texting me updates, and then Ms. Prilliman also was texting me, knowing just from my love for Trinity Athletics and being, TESPN guy, that how much I would want to know. And we won by 1 stroke over Woodbury. And we've been knocking on the door for years in golf, but that was the first ever Prep League title for Titan Golf. So I think for me, that's got to be the moment of the spring, is breaking through and getting that trophy. Griff, how about you?
There's a lot. I got the blessed that I got to announce some of those games. Like those girls lacrosse games were crazy. Girls softball game, St. Margaret's was a crazy game where they ended on a walk-off steal. But I gotta stay with your soccer team. But it's actually a game that we lost. It was a collegiate LIS championship. I hate to bring it up, so I know it still hurt, but
I feel you though.
I think that's kind of the first time, because when I'm soccer all these 4 years, it's never been such a big sport or such a big like Titans showing out. And I remember this fall where there was like 3 games where students came out, and I just remember that feeling. And then going for girls soccer, seeing that crowd, seeing that whiteout, and it was just as hype as any other sport. That honestly was a great atmosphere, and I'm never gonna forget it.
Can I just add to that? Because I've been coaching girls soccer for 18 years. We had never had a crowd like that although actually I think we maybe even topped it the next game at States. But also, just on a personal note, like my sister was an incredible high school female athlete, but it always made me sad because like people didn't come to girls sports back then. But now, as a father of 3 daughters, knowing that the girl sports get that same respect how boy sports have gotten for forever, I just think that's awesome. Like we talk about, and I know some of the guys in this room have been so huge in pushing for diversity and inclusion in a broader sense, but it's also great to see female athletes get the respect that they deserve and get the hype that the crowd gives them. So I love that. That's a great call. DJ, how about a moment of the spring for you?
My moment's gonna be it was baseball. They had a walk off later in the spring. I was with Jack, our analytics guy, and Chaz. We kind of went over there, and you could tell like everyone was excited, and Mickens was in the dugout talking, and for them, I felt like they really needed that win, and Logan Janney ended up hitting the walk off single to I think bring home either Josiah or somebody else home. But you could tell they were all really excited, and I was excited for them. It was a really great moment.
I remember that, because it was a Saturday game. I think it was the day of the Jazz Festival. I'm pretty sure, and we just wrapped up our soccer game and the new student picnic. So that was just an overall great Trinity day for sure. Well, I guess we'll wrap it there for now, but we'll definitely be back for at least one more podcast to wrap up the entire athletic season. It's been such a pleasure all year working with DJ, Griff, Chaz manning the camera, Jack doing his thing, Sam Rory, Sam's out at tennis right now. They're currently playing in their state semifinal. And actually, speaking of Sam, if I had taken his advice and listened to some of the coaching adjustments, maybe we would have won that collegiate LIS girls soccer game.
That's not.
So, Sam, if you watch this, my bad. We'll get it next time. But anyway, thanks everybody who watched. We had a fun time making this podcast. We got at least one more in us next week, so stay tuned for that. And we'll see you next time.